Hey guys, today's video is going to be a topic that I get a lot of questions about and a lot of messages about, and I don't mind talking about it in private, but it's not really something that I've actually addressed on my social medias in great detail. So this video is about stripping and my experience as a stripper from February to August of 2018. It's like I made a little outline on my phone so that I don't get off track because I could there's so much to say about this topic. And I feel like a lot of the videos that I watched before I started dancing, because I did a lot of research, either they were completely positive or they were completely negative. And I just don't think that job is one or the other. I think that oh geez, oh god. That's lovely. I think that it definitely has it's a combo deal. Nothing in life is either all good or all bad. There's always going to be good and bad things about it. So yeah, I started last year in February, right after my good friend passed away. I really just couldn't work at the restaurant that I'd worked at the time anymore. I'd worked there for over a year and a half. Me and my friend that passed away had worked there, and it was just really hard for me to continue working. Just a very difficult experience, and emotionally just too trying for me to go into work every day at the same place. So I wound up getting a job at a club about 20 minutes away from my house, a small club in Seminole, Florida. And I was working both of them, but it was extremely tiring, and I completely respect women who can work a full-time job and then also work as a dancer, which a lot of women do both. A lot of times women have dancing as a supplemental income more often than they have it as their full income. And that's really because dancing, as I've learned from personal experience, because a lot of videos will either say you'll make such good money or you won't make any money, is literally one night you can make $600 and then for the next 4 nights you can make $100 total. So that's something super important to know, before going into dancing, is that it's not, instant cash. Even my first night, I worked for 8 hours. I think I made, $120, which is exciting because it was my first night. But, it's hard. And the job itself, if you're not a very social person, which thankfully, because I was a waitress and I worked retail management for a long time, I have, very decent social skills, surprisingly. And even for me, with being social, it was super difficult to get past that barrier of, okay, I'm topless and I'm talking to a stranger and I have to talk about things other than the fact that I'm topless. So that is probably something that you really need to think about before going in, because again, a lot of girls message me saying, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Do you have any advice or any can you just tell me about your experience? The hardest part is just realizing that you're very vulnerable in that situation, but you can't act like it. You are completely in control in the fact that if you work at a club, you do have security, you have management, you have the other dancers. For the most part, they're all going to be on your side. But at the end of the day, it's all about how you view yourself. So if you feel super uncomfortable being naked, then this is probably not the job for you. That's just cut and dry. If you aren't going to be okay with people talking to you while your tits are out, then you're not going to make money. You just probably won't. There are of course exceptions to all these rules, but that's just what I've learned for the most part. And I have to keep looking at my outline. So I started because I couldn't work at the restaurant anymore. It was just too difficult for me emotionally. And so I needed money. So I went into a strip club with my friends one night, and I talked to the manager and I talked to the bartender, who is now actually my best friend ever. Still to this day, even though I don't work there anymore, she's going to be in my wedding and everything. But I just the first night that I did it, I got on stage and I was horrified. I was so nervous. And then as soon as I took my top off and started dancing, I didn't even care that no one really cared. I just had so much fun and I just fell in love with it. And yeah, so that, it was immediate for me, but I know that some girls say as soon as they try it once, then they realize they don't like it. So my advice, if you do want to start, is honestly just go into a club and audition. Knowing in that moment when you go on stage how you feel will determine whether or not you can hold out a job in this career, a job in this industry. because you'll know that quickly. You'll know as soon as you get on stage and you get topless whether or not you want to do that anymore, which I think is a good thing. So yeah, again, with making money, like you are not guaranteed to make $500 every night. You're not even guaranteed to make $100 every night. Stripping is down to the hustle. Like if you can develop a good hustle, and every hustle is different for each girl, then you can make money. Like my hustle is just like, I am very funny. I like to make jokes with people and I like making people laugh. So even though I was like half naked most of the time, I wouldn't just go in and start being sexual. I would go in and try and make a joke with them, or, you know, like kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, just be goofy. And that worked really well for me because that was something that wasn't very like found in the club that I was working at. So if you go to a club and you feel like your hustle is very similar to the other girls there, it might be best to like go to a different location to see if your type isn't there yet. Which the club that I worked at was really awesome because we all looked so different. Like we all had different body types. We all had different hair colors, skin colors, personalities. So the customers that would come in had their like pick of the lot. It wasn't like the same carbon copy girl, which I think is better. I don't recommend trying to act like a stereotypical stripper because you will not make money that way. Like guys aren't interested in the fake. They would rather see a more real side of you than you acting like all the other girls that you've seen on TV being strippers. So there's that. Also, going back to the real side of you with dancing, a big part of it is separating yourself from the club. You don't want to lose who you are. Like, you don't want to lose your identity and mix it up with being an exotic dancer. And that doesn't go to say that, like, I'm not proud of doing sex work. I love being in this industry. That's why I still am on Patreon. I still sell photos and videos and everything. It's just, you can't mix that up with your identity. You're still your own person, and you were still someone else before you started stripping. So that's something that was really difficult for me at one point. About like 4 months into it, I felt like I was kind of losing myself into it. And it's really just the partying and being in that atmosphere all the time. And it was my full-time job. So I was there 3 to 6 days a week, partying for 8 hours a day. So it's really easy to kind of get lost in the sauce there. And it's also pretty dangerous to do that. So I would have to pull myself out for like a week or two at a time just to like kind of center myself again and make sure that I wasn't getting like too far away from Sammy Joe. And yeah. And my dancer name was Pixie. So I didn't want to get like Pixie and Sammy Joe mixed. Like they needed to stay separate because Pixie is my work persona and Sammy Joe is who I am. So that's really important if you want to dance, is just like to remember like who you are and don't stray from your morals and your boundaries is, I guess, the point of what I was trying to say. Going on to boundaries is, it is so important before you start dancing to like know what you're okay with and what you're not okay with, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Like, it doesn't matter what the other girls do. It doesn't matter what the customers had done before. It doesn't matter what the customer wants. It really fucking doesn't matter what the customer wants at all. It matters what you're comfortable with, because at the end of the day, if they want your attention, they will pay for it. Like, if you're not comfortable getting touched at all, that's fine. You just say, hey, don't touch me. And if they don't want to dance from you, then they'll move on. And if they do, then they'll pay for it. And it doesn't matter. But it's like, you can't bend your boundaries, because if you give an inch, they will take a mile. And you'll find yourself feeling very bad about yourself if that's not something that you originally sought out to be doing. Again, mad respect for anyone who does whatever they want. I mean, it's your body. Literally, it's your body, your tool, your commodity. Do what you want with it. But if you don't want to do certain things, then don't let anyone convince you otherwise. That is so important. And there are people out there who will try to sway you to doing what they want to do. And that's just like super uncool. So everything, you just need to make sure that everything is consensual, which kind of goes to my next thing, is that it's really difficult sometimes to stay in that consensual arena because there are drugs and alcohol involved in the industry. So if you're straight edge, then that's awesome. You'll probably do very well, because I've noticed that, I mean, I'm not a drinker really, but when I was dancing, I would get drunk. Like, I would drink and I would get drunk because it's our job to sell drinks for the bar, and the more drunk customers get, normally the more that they will tip or buy dances. So like the more money you make. So the best way to get people to drink is to drink with them. Like, hey, do you want to take a shot? Hey, let's get a drink. And you do wind up kind of getting drunk a lot. So it's really hard to like stick to who you are if you're constantly getting drunk. So my best recommendation, and what I kept myself to, is After the first like 2 months, I limited myself to 2 drinks a night. I was not allowed to have any more than 2 drinks a night because you just don't focus on your money when you're partying. So just don't see this job as a party. Like, it's still a job. It's fun, and you get to wear like really fun heels and stuff, and like that's probably one of my favorite parts was like the outfits and the makeup and the heels, and obviously the actual like pole dancing is my absolute favorite. I still have a stripper pole in my house because like I love it so much. It's great exercise, but you just need to really evaluate who you are and who you don't want to become, and you need to stick to it. Like, I really don't like when people are constantly drinking. So I was like, I'm not going to constantly drink. I'm going to have 2 drinks a night, and then that's it. And, you know, and then you could usually clubs are cool if you let them know like, hey, I don't want to partake in alcohol. So if someone orders me a drink, can you make sure that there's no alcohol in it? And they'll say yes. They'll still charge for the regular price drink, but you don't have to like deal with the fact that you are going to be forced to drink alcohol. Like, a club will never force you to drink alcohol, at least not the ones that I've worked at. And I've worked at 5 different clubs total, I think. I'm pretty sure I worked at either 5 or 6. I'm pretty sure it's 5 though. The next topic I'm going to get into is dancing with mental illness or depression. So I suffer from both of these things. I have borderline personality disorder and pretty horrible depression. So that's a big reason why I started dancing, is that there is a freedom of scheduling. You're not on a schedule. You're a contracted artist, basically. So you're a freelance worker. You work when you want. You come in. I mean, of course, clubs are going to be like, you have to work this day, this day, this day, blah, blah, blah. But for the most part, like, you're not on a schedule. Like, you don't get paid hourly. You don't, like, get a tax form from them or anything. You just fill out a certain, I forget what it is, but like a certain freelance tax form, but you're not like clocking in or anything. So if one day, like how I feel, like some days I go through my mania where I'm like so excited and so pumped and I just want to work. So I'll work 4 straight days, like 9 hours a day, and then I will be very depressed and I won't be able to get out of bed or really do anything. So it was really helpful having that freedom of being able to not go in if I wasn't like emotionally up for it, which is kind of still something that I struggle with working at a regular job, is the fact that sorry, there's something popped up, is the fact that like you can't just call out when you don't feel okay. And I feel like a lot of jobs, which I mean they have the right to, they just don't have the ability to work that well with certain kind of mental illnesses or personality disorders, because they don't understand how it actually manifests physically inside of you. Like, when you have BPD, you don't just feel emotions like mentally, like you physically feel it, and it's a physical pain. So when I'm going through my depression waves, like, it physically hurts me to like do stuff. Like, I feel it in my actual body, and it's hard to explain it other than that, but it's just like the frontal lobe of people with this disorder. It just triggers it in such an intense way that it makes it hard to work. It makes it hard to motivate. That's why I dropped out of school. That's why I kind of self-sabotage sometimes and lose really good jobs. It's just very hard to control that situation. So being a dancer and now just being a freelance sex worker just gives me so much more freedom to do that. And I use the term sex worker right now very loosely. I am engaged and I don't work at clubs or anything. I do only do Patreon, but I still lump that in together because I feel like providing a service of that sexual nature, whether it's digitally, still counts as being part of the industry in my mind. I don't know if that's like literally, but that's just how I see it. And I don't know. You could take the girl out of the club, but you can't take the club out of the girl, okay? So yeah, that's all I'm going to touch on that part. If you guys wanted to know more about the struggles of dealing with that sort of thing, I can make another video about it, but even that right now, like, this is the first time I've ever actually talked about having that on the internet. So yeah. Stressful. Okay, so I only have 3 more things that I want to touch on because this video is getting really long. And I'm sorry that I'm just like talking the whole time. But the last 3 things that I wanted to touch on is, first one is judgments. So when you're a dancer, even though you could have your very strict moral boundaries, and you don't stray from them, people will still judge the shit out of you. People will look at you and be like, oh wow, like you sell your body, you're a whore, you're a stripper, like that's disgusting. And even if you literally dance on stage and don't get touched, like they will look at you and still be like, you're disgusting, you're a whore. And you just kind of have to deal with that. Like, it's to the point where like I find it funny because like I call myself a thought. I call myself like very thoughtful, THOTFUL. And I don't see it as an insult because I know what I do. I know myself. I know like what I have done, what I haven't done. And it doesn't matter what you tell them. Like they're going to think what they want to think. So like you can't let people judging you hold you back from making money, basically. Like if you want to dance and you like dancing, which I love dancing, and you make money at it, then like fuck everyone else. Fuck them. Like if they call you names, then literally fuck them. I will say though, like your family will judge you too. My family is like, my sister's okay with it. Her girlfriend's okay with it, which is happy for me. I'm not super close with my dad, so it doesn't matter. I hate that it's like stereotypical, like the fucking joke, like daddy issue stripper, but it's just helpful because that's one less person that I have to tell. But it's just, if you want to tell your parents and they're supportive, that's good. But I would kind of just like feel it out because I've heard stories of people telling their parents and then taking a really bad turn. So I can't speak personally on what you should do in that situation, but just so you know what I did, like it's not something that I talk about really with my family. It is something that I am proud of. Like I talk about it openly in public. I talk about it with my friends. I try and teach my friends like stripper tips, but it's really all your personal preference of who you want to tell and who you don't want to tell. I'm really proud that I'm doing this in one take, by the way. I'm just gonna like post it. Fuck it. So I have like 1 more minute left. Last thing is that it is so much fun. Like it really is. There are a lot of really bitchy people. There are a lot of really shitty people. There are thieves. So bring a lock. Don't bring valuable stuff. But like at the end of the day, it is a party. Like it is really fun, especially if you make friends. So like making a like very small circle of friends in a club is crucial. And I'm not saying be friends with everyone. That's not a good idea because there are fake bitches out there who will try and be your friend just to fuck you over. So I'm not saying be friends with everyone. Like be nice to everyone, but like make a tight group of friends because those are the people that will be there for you when you don't make any money in a night, or when you lose money, or someone steals from you, or someone talks shit about you, or a customer's nasty to you. Like you want girls who you can trust, who aren't going to use this information to fuck you over, because at the end of the day, we are each other's competition. Like in the club, it's all sisterhood until money comes in, and then we're each other's competition. So it's just have fun, but don't be too trusting into people because there are people who are dying to watch you fail. I'm probably gonna make another video about just like what I wore, tips, pros, cons, and stuff, but I hope this kind of answered some questions. I know it was all over the place, but I did do it in one take. And I had to touch upon like other things in this too. But yeah, let me know if you guys liked this, if you want another video about strippers or like clothes and all my shoes and stuff, because I have so much clothes. Yeah, love you guys. Thank you so much for watching if you watched it all the way to the end. Bye.